Welcome to this webinar on RM6255 Voucher Schemes. We will cover introductions to CCS, give an overview of RM6255 and the suppliers awarded to the agreement, how to buy from the agreement, and 3 case studies to provide more detail on the uses of RM6255. I will give a brief introduction to CCS. CCS is the biggest public procurement organisation in the UK. We use our commercial expertise to help buyers in central government and across the public and third sectors to purchase everything from locum doctors and laptops to police cars and electricity. CCS is an executive agency of the Cabinet Office and is responsible for buying common goods and services across central government and the wider public sector. Customers typically buy via CCS through frameworks that are utilised on a call-off basis. The Cabinet Office is a ministerial department responsible for supporting the Prime Minister and ensures effective running of government. They are the corporate headquarters for government in partnership with Her Majesty's Treasury. The Cabinet Office take the lead on critical policy areas and are supported by 25 agencies and public bodies. There are 23 ministerial and 20 non-ministerial departments across government, with many supported by agencies and public bodies. RM6255 is a framework developed and managed by the People Services team, one of 7 teams in the CCS People Pillar. The work of the People Pillar is focused on anyone who gets work done, like employees, apprentices, or experts in legal, language, consultancy, and recruitment services. People Services is split into 4 categories: apprenticeships and learning and development, language services and occupational health, strategic projects, and employee benefits and voucher schemes. Voucher Schemes is a new framework giving access to voucher-based solutions to meet a wide range of citizens' needs. It is the first of its kind. With each new framework, we want to develop the best solution available for our customers and hope to see growth in the wider public sector space, as well as seeing government departments use the new agreements. As an introduction to the structure and the scope of the framework, it lasts for 2 years with the option to extend for a further 2 periods of 12 months. It is a one-lot framework with 13 suppliers awarded. The overall overdue maximum value of RM6255 is £1.5 billion. This figure reflects the framework opportunity rather than the anticipated spend, which will be guided by growth over the next 4 years. The mandatory requirements of the framework are the delivery of fully managed closed-loop voucher schemes, including the design and implementation of schemes and the sourcing, delivery, and administration of closed-loop vouchers and schemes. A closed-loop voucher, more commonly known as a gift card, is a voucher that can only be redeemed at the merchant who issued it. The framework's purpose is to enable public sector organisations to deliver vouchers to end recipients. The vouchers are electronic and to be provided across the UK, regardless of buyer or recipient location. Suppliers on the framework are responsible for any delivery by subcontractors and will not require CCS or the buyer to enter into any further agreements. There are a number of key benefits of RM6255, not least the fact that both direct award and further competition are fully supported on the framework. The framework supports effective policy delivery as the solutions meet a wide range of citizens' needs, with the most topical need arising from the pandemic. The provision of a fully managed service tailored to specific needs means that the framework effectively focuses on our customers, whilst the discount of the face value of vouchers and the ability to further compete is commercially beneficial to customers seeking to use the agreement. Further commercial benefits are the full traceability of orders at every stage of the process and the flexibility provided by the use of e-vouchers. The suppliers awarded to the framework have a wide range of expertise in the design, implementation and delivery of voucher schemes. Many have recent experience of dealing with hardship fund dispersal, such as free school meal provision. Other suppliers awarded have more specific experience of dealing with schemes with a local focus, delivering benefits to local economies. All suppliers awarded to the framework will ensure that a broad range of grocery and non-grocery merchant vouchers are available. Furthermore, the suppliers will use best endeavours to onboard new merchants if this is requested by you. Voucher scheme suppliers use a platform with which to administer the schemes. The platform will be available 24/7 for 365 days per year, and its use is not restricted in any way by low or high volume. The suppliers also provide a free of charge helpline for both customer and recipient use. I will now talk through how to buy from RM6255, including who is eligible to buy from the framework. Customers that are eligible to use our agreement include ministerial and non-ministerial departments, civil service bodies including public sector buying organisations, devolved administrations as well as non-Crown status government companies, non-departmental public bodies and corporations as well as their subsidiaries. Our standard list of authorised customers that was published with a contract notice is available to download from the RM6255 webpage. You, the customers, are independently responsible for your own call-off contracts, and CCS are not accountable and have no liability in this regard. You are able to request an assisted service from CCS, whereby our procurement operations team will support you with running your procurement. This is most frequently done for large central government departments. Generally, you should undertake your own procurement with guidance from CCS where there are questions around process. Guidance documents are available to download on the RM6255 webpage. Framework Schedule 7 also provides detail as to what you should do and also what the expectation of suppliers is in terms of what should be included in their response to a tender. In summary, if you are seeking to direct award, you should develop a clear statement of requirement. Apply direct award criteria as set out in the framework against the prospectus or tender documents for all suppliers capable of meeting the statement of requirement. This will establish which supplier provides the most economically advantageous solution. You are able to obtain pricing from info@crowncommercial.gov.uk, where your eligibility is assessed and terms of access are issued. You should approach the supplier offering the most economically advantageous solution to direct award the contract. You should provide the completed order form Framework Schedule 6, which will detail the call-off schedules that will apply to the contract, as well as essential information such as the specification, contract value, and term. Both parties signing the order form create the call-off contract. With regards to further competition, you need to prepare your statement of requirement and invite suppliers to submit a tender using the further competition procedure. Suppliers must respond with either a statement to the effect it does not wish to tender or submit a tender. Tenders submitted must be in good faith and not be fixed or adjusted in accordance with any agreement or arrangement with any other person. Tenders must be treated with confidentiality. Again, the order form will set out key information, including any special terms, and the call-off schedules that will apply. A signed order form will create the call-off contract. A direct award is most suitable if only one supplier meets your needs, or you can clearly see which supplier is most beneficial to their needs. Direct award is used when your requirements are for the mandatory services. If you require distribution of physical vouchers, as this is an optional service, a further competition process would need to take place. We encourage all customers to further compete in line with procurement best practice. It is important that you follow your own internal audits and checks when using either call-off procedure. it is advisable to complete an early engagement exercise. You should use the framework specification document to determine at a high level whether suppliers are able to fulfill your need. You may use framework prices as an early indication of anticipated costs to inform your business case or internal approvals to go to market, albeit you may improve upon framework rates through competition. The prices shown on the rate cards are the maximum a supplier will charge. The rate cards state the percentage a supplier will charge against the face value of a voucher. A supplier who states a figure of less than 100% is delivering a saving against the face value. A supplier who states a percentage of 100% will charge face value for the voucher, and so on. For example, if a supplier rate card states 98%, then a voucher with a face value of £10 will cost you £9.80. It may be necessary to ask for an expression of interest to help understand the capability and capacity of suppliers to meet requirements, as well as ascertain any conflict of interest. Conference calls may also be used in similar ways to an expression of interest. These stages may also be used for suppliers to deselect themselves if they wish. When awarding via direct award, you will use the framework specification to determine suitability, can agree with the supplier what they can and will do to help towards social value priorities set out in the framework specification, determine supplier availability and cost effectiveness using maximum framework rates for the anticipated volumes. The framework weightings are 0% to 80% on quality and 20% to 100% on price. You are responsible for ensuring that you award to the supplier offering the best value for money once you have applied the criteria. When awarding via further competition, you will be able to set your own evaluation questions to determine quality of service and suitability to the requirements. The quality element can be weighted between 50 to 70%. Price can be given a weighting of 30 to 50%. This will include social value that you will need to give a minimum 10% weighting to. You will need to select your social value priorities to evaluate. There will be a guide for you on the RM6255 webpage that explains each of the call-off schedules to help you understand what they do and aid your decision as to whether or not you need to include them and whether you need to input any of the schedules. If you have questions about how the public sector contract works, or have specific questions around terms and conditions, CCS will support where needed. I will now talk through 3 case studies. Please note that these cases are relevant to live use scenarios. They have been drafted using all customer engagement in order to give an insight into what the agreement can be used for. The case studies do not represent a single live case. Our first case study highlights a central government department using the framework to reward citizens who have completed a nationwide survey, which is a scheme that will generate a high volume of recipients. The customer requires e-vouchers, which need to be traceable. It is also important that any lost or unused vouchers need to be refunded in order that the funds can be redistributed. The customer is dealing with large amounts of recipient data and is concerned about security. The RM6255 framework can meet these customers' needs, as e-vouchers are a mandatory service, meaning that the compliant direct award procedure is possible. As mentioned previously, a key benefit of the framework is that all orders for vouchers are transparent at all stages of the process, fulfilling the customer requirement for traceability. Furthermore, any lost or unused vouchers will be refunded to the customer in full. Finally, customers need not have any concerns regarding cybersecurity, as all suppliers must have a valid certificate of Cyber Essentials Plus and ISO 27001. Our second case study focuses on a topical requirement resulting from the pandemic. In this case, the customer requires both physical and e-vouchers, which need to be redeemable in both grocery and non-grocery merchants. The local authority in this case is in a predominantly rural location and will need to ensure that vouchers can be redeemed at local businesses as well as national supermarkets. Previous iterations of voucher schemes that the local authority has run have generated a large amount of queries from recipients, tying down local authority staff in scheme management rather than ensuring the correct citizens are put forward for the scheme. As both physical and e-vouchers are required, a further competition process will need to take place, as physical vouchers are an optional service in RM6255. RM6255 rate card pricing gives maximum prices for either grocery or non-grocery, but this is the only point where it is either or grocery or non-grocery. The customer will need to raise the fact that the vouchers need to be redeemable in both grocery and non-grocery as part of initial interactions with the supplier. The framework also has the capacity to cope with the need for local retailers. The suppliers awarded to the scheme offer a wide range of retailers and must use best endeavours to onboard new retailers as per customer requirements. Any negotiations with the new retailers will be undertaken by the suppliers. The length of time it takes to onboard new retailers is dependent on the retailer willingness and technical setup. Typically, the process takes 3 to 4 weeks, but may take longer if the retailer doesn't have the required processing integration. In terms of dealing with a large amount of queries, the suppliers all provide a free of charge helpline and are experienced with dealing with and resolving the type of queries that may occur. Our third case study concerns a voucher scheme helping tenants to redecorate their homes. The customer requires the flexibility of both e-vouchers and physical cards and needs specific branding to be displayed on both. There are concerns that the relatively low value of their scheme may prevent them from using the framework. Further concerns relate to the low redemption rate of a previous scheme as a result of poor communication, which meant that end recipients were not fully aware of how to use the vouchers. The local authority also requires a local provider based in the town centre to give ease of access to all recipients. Due to the requirements for branding and physical vouchers, which are optional services on RM6255, the customer will need to follow a further competition process. There is no minimum or maximum spend on the framework, but it's probably wise to highlight the estimated value of the scheme when interacting with the suppliers. Suppliers will provide a free of charge help desk to assist with queries from both end recipients and customers, and this will assist with increasing redemption rates. Finally, the suppliers awarded to the framework deal with a wide selection of retailers and have experience of dealing with local providers. I will now talk through the web page guides and customer support. Our website provides comprehensive material to support you in exploring the framework agreement, and you will find answers to many questions here. The main tabs provide a high-level description, detail of the benefits, how to buy, as well as suppliers awarded onto the agreement and their respective contact details. The Documents tab provides you with more in-depth guidance documents, including templates, contract documents for both framework and call-off, as well as key extracts of the framework documentation. This is the primary point of reference for all customers. However, if you have any additional inquiries, they are directed to contact our Customer Service Centre, who have been given training on this agreement. Any unanswered questions will be directed to the Commercial Agreement Manager. That concludes the webinar. Please keep in touch.